Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Q&A. I'm sure we probably have a bunch of questions based on everybody showing up. Really appreciate it. I guess let's get started with any questions that you guys have. Feel free to just unmute yourself and then ask a
Hey,
question.
Tyler. I
Hey,
have a question. I was trying to play with the new route overlay and everything. Can you do a brief deal? What all? One thing I was wondering is the geofencing. Is that based on what I put in, or is it automatically figuring out where the best geofence and they lost the tag on it? So
yeah, so that's a good question. It will show you based on what you have drawn. So it essentially, whenever you toggle it, it just if you have it, already created, it's just going to show you, what it is on the map.
okay.
Let me get it pulled up.
And is there a way that we can look at, we got several on there that haven't used us in a while. Is there a way just to look at the ones that have used us within the last, 60 days, 30 days, or
In that specific
in
area?
that screen? Uh-huh. Okay.
No. I mean, so there's not a filter for, say, putting in there because I know it does show the last visit date on there. Um, but there isn't a filter or anything that we have put in here.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me share my screen. Okay, so let me start from the beginning where route overlay is.
Okay.
You'll go to settings, and then delivery, and then route overlay. And so here you have the option to select all of your routes, which is probably going to get a little bit laggy depending on who you are and how many routes you service and say, how many people are on each route. So most of the time what this should be used for, this was a common question that cleaners were asking us, if we could plot on the map where all of their customers were, and allow them to be able to move them all in one go. So that's kind of what this is meant to be used for. This will also help, especially for those who geofence. If I click this, it's just going to show the ones that I already have geofenced, or where I already have a geofence set up.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah. And so as you see here, they do have some geofences set up. So we can go through and click to see where these are. So you can see that there's some people outside of that geofence. So maybe you can extend it out.
right.
There's also some that come down in here.
Can you do that on this screen, or do I need to go to the geofencing screen to do it?
Yeah, you'll have to go to the geofence area. This is specifically just for viewing, other than moving customers, moving their order.
Okay.
That looks pretty good. And so this is also to help get rid of these route appending approvals, so you can hit select and you can see where they are. I think we already have something put into where if I hover over this, it's going to tell me the person. I don't think that they um, added that yet. Otherwise, you'd have to go one by one to see where they are and where they should be, based on that location. So you
And
gotta,
so it looks like my geofencing is pretty much right on, except for a couple of things. So we have not turned that on yet, but if I turn that on, then anybody that signs up and it falls in that, it'll automatically assign them to that route.
right. And the key word that you pointed out there is customers that sign up. So any customer that's already set up and in the system and already on the route, they're not going to be affected by this. Turning on geofencing is only to assist you in assigning new customers to the correct route. So
Okay.
you don't have to do that part.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, all this really helps is just those cleaners who I say like visual aid, the visual aspect of what do my routes look like. Now, you guys are pretty clean with your routes, so um, this is kind of just a reassurance tool for you guys. Unless if you know, see, oh, I have 69 customers on this one and 56 on this one. Maybe we can move some and change the way that some of these stops are if you want to put them in a different route or
Okay.
whatever.
And the line box, is that just showing how we have them routed out? I mean, you can sort of
Yeah,
up
let's put
top the line.
one. Yeah, choosing the line, it's showing you based off from one if you had to do every single stop in. But what's interesting is that it shows a direct line. Oh, that's right. So it doesn't show like path. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to show what yeah, I mean it doesn't show any directions, if that makes sense of,
Okay.
you're turning down these streets to get here. It's really just straight to especially like this 65 to 66 over here somewhere. It's just a straight line across.
Right. Okay. And we might have some people that have been out for a while that we haven't.
Right.
So
And
I
so
like this overview a lot. I've been asking for it, so that's a cool thing.
yeah, so another thing that it does point out is that you have multiple stops with the same address. With whenever you see these, 49 and 50 are a good example. These two customers have the exact same address, but they're different customers. So
All right.
it could be an apartment building or something, I would assume, or
Car
whatever it
dealership.
is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So not that you have to change anything, it's just kind of just more information. I mean, you could set it as a master stop or a master delivery. That's just the dealership, whatever the dealership is called. And then all these customers could be underneath it, so you only see one stop there. So it's just decreasing on duplicate stops.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else about this. I don't think there's anything else specific about this. The other thing that I like using this for is to kind of quickly see if I have like this one. Mary White has a different, like they have a specific day that they have checked off that they want to be serviced, rather
Uh-huh.
than this route runs Monday, Tuesday, or sorry, Thursday, Monday, Thursday. But they only want services on Thursday. So, I mean, that's something that I use for support purposes of just scrolling through of like, hey, customer didn't receive messages or something today. Can you check out to see why? And it's, oh,
Okay.
for whatever reason, they only have, this checked.
No, perfect. Yeah, I was wondering about that geo. I remember doing it, but I didn't know I was that close. So it's good to know I could get that set up.
Yeah.
Do you have a
Let's
question on
see.
it?
Oh, yeah, you don't have geofencing on.
Right. Check this out.
Did Mike have a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
On the brands, the disable button, I see that's on there now.
Is it really?
Uh,
Here?
no.
No, for like clothing brands.
I gotcha.
So see how we can disable them now, but our issue is we have 2,122 pages of brands.
Yeah, so a default instance in Smart has not over 9,000 brands inside of it.
Okay. What I was asking, what happens if we disable a brand? What happens to the items that are attached to it?
So that entirely depends on if you have a requirement for brands.
No.
We do.
Oh, requirement, yes. Okay, but we don't.
Okay, so
Yes.
the next time so say you have a bunch of different Gucci's. Okay, you don't. You only have two. That's good. Um,
Oh,
typically the bigger brands you end up having multiples of.
Like do
yeah.
Ralph Lauren.
Yeah, there's probably a million of those actually.
Hoses.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a million of these. Yeah. So for example, if you disable this Ralph Lauren polo and you get rid of it, and there's 50 Ralph Lauren polo garments that are out there, as they come through, because you have a requirement, it's going to be removed from that item. Same thing happens with item types. If you were to just disable a shirt, um, the next time it comes through, it's going to recognize it, but it's going to tell you this needs to be redetailed. And then it's just going to force them to redetail and add that necessary information that you guys require.
Does it require a whole new detail or just adding that info in?
Just adding in the missing info.
Okay, it'll pull up and say you're missing this or
Yeah, it'll still pop up as like a blue polo stripes, whatever it is, but it'll just be missing the brand, and then have to put that in there.
Is there anything in the works where, like, if you're searching, you hit the hourglass, you're searching, you type in Ralph, and it'll
pull up all the
pull up all the Ralphs.
better than exact search.
Under brand.
Yeah, and then if I hit search right there, it'd give me.
You'd have to go through each one of them.
Oh, you just want to do this.
Yeah, and then it pulls up anything that's associated with Ralph Lauren Polo, or So I don't have to click each one individually.
Yeah.
Start
Yeah,
on.
there's nothing.
Can you put
Yeah,
in?
there's nothing in here for like a custom search.
You can't use the stars and stuff
That
as wild
is,
cards, right?
say that again.
Use a start as a wild card. In other words, route
Oh,
like startups.
oh, I got you. I don't think that works. You want to use it at the end?
Probably.
I think he means like as a wild card or a wild character
Yeah.
in order to
Every time I do it, it goes away.
expand the search. I sorry to interrupt. I
No,
really
that's
like this
great.
idea also. Just to second that. It'd be nice not to have to click through everything if we're, who knows what the detailer shows. So
Quick question,
So, yeah.
Tyler. I'm not using this yet, but I'm trying to understand why you would have multiple Ralph Lauren items. In other words, is there a different upcharge for the garment type by Ralph Lauren? Because that's what that looks like a bit. In other words, why would you have a Ralph Lauren? I see here you have household items as well. So the reason that you have multiple Ralph Laurens is because you want a different upcharge depending on the garment type. Is that the thinking behind that?
No, not necessarily. So, and you said you're not live with us yet, Theo?
I have not activated the if you will brands feature on my invoicing because I have used other ways of upcharging for a particular garment, but it is something that I'm looking at. But in terms of, if you will, setting up a pricing structure that kind of is a la carte, I haven't gotten to brands yet, but I am intending to go there, and I'm just trying to understand why there is a Ralph Lauren polo, a Ralph Lauren pants. Is it because
So
They type it in at the front counter, so it says Ralph Lauren by or I don't know.
yeah,
Each
so
one of those have been typed in by our front counter.
oh, I see. This is your database then, Matthew.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that.
but also the with Ralph Lauren, they have different subclasses to it. So you'll have certain garments that say Ralph Lauren Purple, Ralph Lauren Collection, Polo
I
Ralph
hear you.
Lauren. So each one of those are different tier to Ralph Lauren. Some of them are higher end and some of them are not. So depending on that brand, you might want to upcharge differently. Which is why some of the defaults you'll see a bunch of Ralph Laurens, but also at the start of detailing, CSRs can type in whatever they want and create a new brand.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Does it? Is there a way to go back to those default brands then? Load those in the system and then we just use those? Or another thing I was going to suggest is, they can enter in a new name for an item, but then it pops up on like me or Matt to approve it, to add it into our database, or we'll have them change it to what it needs to be type of deal. That way we can control how big it gets.
So there's not a current way to kind of get a handle on, I guess, creating or stopping the creation of brands. Looks like Chris has
Sounds like
something.
Yeah.
$1,000 extra.
So yeah, definitely. I think the real fix here is the reason that that happens is a lot of reason is because of the spelling and because it's not a fuzzy search when it comes to the brands. They're spelling something incorrectly and it doesn't pop up like, oh, it might you might be saying this, which is why they're typing it in and creating new brands. I think the fix is just to make the search a little bit more fuzzy, so that way if they do misspell something, it still shows like what it could possibly be, and then that way
That's
they.
what
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's what we're talking about. I don't remember. I think we've had a conversation like this before. I think we've had other priorities since then, but I can return the conversation or bring it back up this Thursday if you guys want me to.
Oh, that'd be great. I think it helps so much. That's what's missing.
agreed.
Well, and I would also say, I
Yeah,
think
the
Mike
same thing.
mentioned it.
Thanks, Matt.
I think Mike just mentioned it. Sounds like $1,000 idea. I'm sure some, if not everybody here, probably got the marketing message or email that was, if you come up with an idea and we end up implementing it and producing it and doing it, um, you it could be worth $1,000, as in we pay you $1,000 for the idea that you came up with. So I'd definitely say you could definitely email us any ideas that you come up with. Things like this broadening the search of brands. I don't know if that classifies. I don't know what the classifications are for this, to get payment based on ideas. But I don't see why not, especially this brand search part. So I think this is definitely a good idea.
That's my number one choice. All right, I'm ready for my check.
Got to get the email first.
Guys, I sent it yesterday.
All right, very good. Jason will follow up with that.
All right.
I think he's going to send lunch to your office too.
There you go.
I think I got
That's
some
all
more
I had.
Monopoly bills lying around.
I feel like you asked another question.
Who, Mike?
Somebody did. There was like 3 questions that were back to back, and I think I missed one.
What happens to the assigned pages? Oh, just the easiest way to consolidate it at this point. And I don't know if it would slow down. I mean, try slow down the front counter a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think
leave it like
Chris.
it is.
Yeah, I think Chris came up with a good idea of making
Okay.
it, as he put it, more fuzzy, so that way it's not super strict as to what you're looking for, or at least it still shows it. It's not looking for exact spelling, I guess.
Okay, that'll work.
So,
yeah,
I think that will help out, but obviously, like you said, if they spell it differently and it doesn't pop up whatsoever, a lot of people use autocorrect now, so you get used to spelling things wrong and it just fixing it for you. All right, let me read this over.
Tyler, when you're ready for another question, let me know. I don't want to interrupt what you're doing.
No, I'm ready. I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay. I'm trying to get a clearer understanding of how the credits report works, because I have been reluctant to use it because I don't know the exact effect of doing. Well, let me just give you my understanding of what these things mean. So, for example, I understand that if you do a void of a payment, it reverses the payment and restores the order to being due. Let me just give you my definitions and you correct me if I'm wrong about them, and then we can proceed from there. I understand that a refund reverses the payment on the complete order and makes the amount due on that order. So on those two there, I'm a little bit confused. Does a void then, would you use a void? When would you use a void and when would you use a refund if both seem to be doing exactly the same thing?
Yeah, so I believe we changed it to where, let me pull one up. Now, whenever you hit void payment, it pops up with a box.
Oh, okay.
Unless if that's only for certain instances, because I just tried it on one and it did not do it. It may only be for certain instances. Let me find one. Well, so I can explain it while I'm trying to find this. So voiding the payment and refunding are essentially the exact same thing. You're giving the money back to the customer, but you are still expecting that they pay. So the reason for using it would be, auto pay, charge the customer. Customer comes in, has an issue with their order, whatever it is, you're going to give them money off. So you're going to void the payment. You're going to change the price in some way, whether by putting on a promotion or whatever it is. And then you're going to charge the customer again for the new amount. Or the other thing, if it was, same thing, customer comes in and has an issue, but you only want to give them partial. You don't want to have them pay again. That's where you would use the pay a claim portion of that.
Okay, so you've jumped to the next question I had because I was trying to clarify the difference between a void and a refund.
Yeah.
Claim, as I understand it, is it refunds the amount specified and the amount will no longer be due.
Right. Exactly.
So a claim in this instance is not like a claim that you pay a customer because you damaged something.
Right. If you damage something, would you give somebody a partial amount back or would you give them the full amount back? I guess would be my question back.
Well, with a claim, ultimately and usually what happens is that the claim amount surpasses the amount that is due on the order because the garment costs more than the cleaning cost associated with the garment. So that's where I'm a little bit confused. And I have had conversations with people at your organization over time with this, but I have to admit I'm still a little confused about when I would use a void, when I would use a refund, and when I would use a claim. And a follow-on question would be, I presume that, for example, if I use a void and it reverses the payment on the order and makes the order due, I presume it also adjusts the outgoing sales and the accounts receivable. Is that correct? In other words,
Yes.
I'm trying to understand what the follow-on impact of each of these transactions are on incoming or outgoing sales, depending on whether it impacts them or not. So if a void is let's do one at a time. If a void reverses a payment and makes
Hmm.
the order due again, I presume that affects your outgoing sales by reducing them, and it also affects your receivables by increasing them.
So I'm gonna jump in for 2 seconds here with
Sure.
Tyler. So when you do the void or the refund that completely gives the payment back, there's one scenario where you could use it is, let's say, for example, is a shared account between husband and wife. The wife used her card to pay for it, but the husband wanted to use his. So you say, oh, I'm going to refund your wife back, but then you can come and use your card, right? Because the payment is still due. It doesn't affect the outgoing sales because outgoing sales is based off of the return date. So regardless of when it was paid, it was returned on whatever date. It won't affect the outgoing sales report. Now, accounts receivable, it will, because it should show payments coming in and going out. So you'll see a difference there. But as far as outgoing sales go, you won't see a difference in the outgoing sales if a payment has been refunded, because the outgoing sales doesn't care about if the payment was paid or not. It just cares if it was returned or not.
Sorry, Chris. You're using the words interchangeably. So are we talking about a void transaction now, or are we talking about a refund transaction?
So in Smart, the void button is is a refund, right? The void button is just a button. So when you click the void button, you have two options when you click it. You're either gonna refund it or you're gonna pay a claim. So the void button itself is the same thing as a refund or a claim.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
Okay.
So when you do that and then you refund the transaction, when you refund the transaction, you make the bill payable again. That just means that it's available to be paid again by another card or another payment method or something of that nature, right? Now, when you pay a claim is like you guys damaged something and you guys are going to refund it and you're not going to charge the customer again.
So basically, when you use the claim, you're absorbing, if you will, the lost item.
Correct.
But the claim amount, is your claim feature a reflection of the fact that you're going to refund, for lack of a better term right now, the cleaning cost of the garment, and then through perhaps a credit note, you're going to then reimburse them for the garment that way? Is
So
that what you're saying?
so yeah, so the claim refunds them. Correct. It refunds the amount of the cleaning cost. So if you charge them $30 and you want to refund them $30, and then you want to add a credit note to say the garment, we're also replacing the garment, right? So we refund you for the cleaning, and then we want to add a credit to give you $40 for the shirt. So the claim is to refund the cost of the cleaning.
Okay, now I understand. That's what was confusing me because when I see the word claim, I would have thought, and I did try and it didn't accept it, to put in a larger amount, thinking that that would automatically. Anyway, it doesn't matter what I was thinking. So you're saying that if you use the refund sub feature of void, the payment will be reversed and the full amount will become due again. And the only thing it's going to affect is the receivable account, not the outgoing sales.
That's correct.
Okay, let me just try and wrap my head around why that is happening. You're recognizing that you now have a receivable, which previous to the transaction you thought was liquidated, but why are you still maintaining the outgoing sale when you haven't received any funds and you have given back the funds to the customer?
So if we're talking about the outgoing sales report, in Smart, the outgoing sales report isn't about what's been paid, it's about what's been returned, right? So regardless of the payment status of that order, it was returned on that day. So it's going to keep that date in the outgoing sales record.
I'm not sure I understand. So, for example, when I go and look at the sales report outgoing paid by customer, you're saying I'm going to still see that total there, even though I did not receive, or I returned the cash, for lack of a better term, back to the customer. Wouldn't my paid sales in my outgoing report have to be adjusted downwards, given that I've given the customer the money back?
So your paid sales report could be adjusted, but your outgoing sales won't be, because the outgoing sales doesn't report based off of what was paid. It just reports based off of what was returned.
Okay, okay, I'm with you now. Okay, all right. Okay. So a couple of questions on the credits report. Where you have, I've seen that you can get, in terms of a description of the transaction, you can have a prepayment on a payment. What does that mean? I've seen that as a narrative on the report. I thought a prepayment was when the customer chooses to pay you, say at the time that they bring in the order, and they say, I want to pay for it now. That's what I understand as a prepayment.
So that's correct. So if the order is paid before it is ready, that's considered a prepayment. What happens is once that order is marked as ready, the prepayment, that money that was pre-collected for the order gets applied to the order, and then that considers the final payment on the order. It just zeroes it out.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you can
So,
go to the actual credit report itself, where it lists the different types of credits, if you will, on that have been processed. Because it has things like prepayments, overpayments, credit notes, refund credits, claim credits, reward credits, auto credits, and gift card credits.
right. So showing what Chris just explained for the prepayments portion. Uh, this is just an example. Customer came in and paid upfront for the whole order, and then Smart waited until the order was in a ready status to then apply what would be used as credits, but it was the down payment essentially, or the prepayment.
But so this would apply a prepayment, and it would also apply any credit notes that are on a particular account.
Prepayments or deposits, however you want to word it, come across in Smart as a credit because they have already paid you. You already got the money. And so it's just sitting on the account waiting to be used once the order has been put into a ready status or a payable status, once it's hit AR.
Okay, so let me just complicate this a little bit. What if I had given this customer a credit for damage to a garment, and I had booked that on their account by using that credit functionality and put a credit, what do you guys call it? A credit note for a certain amount. If that customer comes in, there you go, from add credit. If that customer comes in and wants to prepay on the order, what will be the prepayment amount that the system is going to? In other words, let's say
It,
the total order is $300. Let's say I gave this guy $100 for a claim where I damaged his garment, and he now wants to pay the total amount on the order, which is 300. What am I going to see on the credit reports? Am I going to see $100 from the credit note, and then I'm going to have to ask the customer for only 200 instead of the 300? Is that how the system is going to process that?
that's correct.
Okay. All right. So that clarifies that. Okay, I'm good on that. Thank you.
All right. Very good. All right. Hey, Zach.
Hey Tyler, how are you today?
Not bad. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I got a question for the group, and then another question. I was just curious. I'm not sure if you're aware, Tyler, but we've been experiencing a lot of issues with Smart. It's been freezing over the last like week or so. I was just curious. Are we the only ones? Have we the only ones been experiencing that? Or has anyone else on the call also been experiencing like intermittent freezing?
I have
Would you
not.
would you know, Tyler? I mean, I heard two no's, so
Yeah.
I'm
So,
I'm happy for everyone.
yeah. So for your specific issue, actually happened to sweep everybody and hit everybody yesterday. Um, because we were trying to put in a fix that we thought had fixed your issue. You guys were the only ones that are having the issue. And it has to
Lucky
do with
us.
how large your database is. Yeah, I mean, I get super technical with it, but essentially, you are the only company that's been dealing with this lagging issue.
Okay. All right. I guess today is definitely better so far. So that's cool. I've been in close contact with my team, so yeah, I've got a email thread that I'll address if anything else pops up. And I'm going to change subjects. This is random, but
Yeah.
I think I found a bug. I just wanted to point it out. The location pickup history report is not
Yep.
showing activity. Something got misassembled. It was put on the wrong assembly hook, and like I needed to know what was on like AR12. And I went to this report, and it didn't have the most recent activity. And I had
Hmm.
to go and build a KPI that had everything for that rack location. And it was just the most recent stuff that wasn't on the location pickup history report. I don't know why. I'm going to take a guess that once that order hit a final rack location, then I think that information filtered through back to this report, and it was like, hey, it was originally racked here. But I could put together an email and demonstrate this, but I just thought I was just curious. Were you aware of this, or is this something new that you've haven't heard before?
So for the location pickup history report, that garment that you were looking for, had it been picked up yet?
No, it was still in the store, but it hadn't been racked to a final location.
Hmm.
It was in the process of being bagged and racked, but it just wasn't on the location pickup history. It looked like it didn't exist yet.
Oh, okay. I got you.
But
That makes
once I went and built a KPI 2 minutes later, and it had everything that had just been, I mean, that was there a couple minutes earlier. But yeah, so the KPI was accurate. The location pickup history report was delayed. Some reason. I don't know why. That's all I'm reporting to you.
I gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I mean, so there have been some flaws that I've found with the location pickup history report, but not based on not what you're saying specifically. So yeah, this would be something that I definitely want to dive into.
Now, specifically for you, Zach, the that location pickup history report uses the revision database that was slowing you guys down as well. So it could be related to how why your system was slowing down. So
Oh, interesting.
not to get super technical or anything, but basically, because of all the data in your database and the way we use our offline database to back that stuff up, it could have been using an old revision of data that hadn't caught up to that report yet, which is why you didn't see it on that report as of that second. And because you guys were experiencing those issues, I'm going to assume it was related to that, because I haven't seen that specifically with anyone else's report.
That could be exactly the reason. That's very interesting. Okay. Well then, so it sounds like in the event that this were to happen, I should always use a KPI instead of the location pickup history, because it takes a minute for that report to update. The location pickup history report takes a minute for us to update in our instance.
So
So
I
if I need, go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I think in this past week, yes, that would have been the case. As of this morning, it looks like everything been stabilized and they're working on some permanent revision fixes, so you probably won't have this issue going forward. But in the event that you see it again, it would probably be a safe bet to use a KBI.
Okay. Would it, if it happens again, is that something you want to be made aware of?
Please do.
Send the information to you. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you for listening. That's it for me right now. Thank you.
Awesome. Not a problem. All right. I'm not sure if Matt was first or if Margie was first. So
Mike had a question on
I just got a call from store 6, and all 3 of her computers is only printing up one front counter slip.
and did you want them to be 2?
Yeah.
Is
One
it the
for
drop
one
ticket?
for the customer drop ticket.
The drop ticket. Okay.
and I think we've had that at other stores too.
Where we've just reset the computer and it'll work, but this one she's done all that, turned off the printer and all, and it's still not functioning. You hear that a lot
Yeah, you guys are set to drop ticket count 0 right now.
for store 6, or would that be the route?
For that's globally.
And they have department specific piece counts turned on, which is why it's printing the 1. So
Yeah.
Do I?
So you guys are splitting orders by department, which means it is printing the 1 ticket by default because that's turned on, but the drop ticket count is set to 0, which means it's not going to print anything additional outside of that 1. So we just need to switch this to 1 so it can print the 2.
Well,
If you want to, or did you want 0?
we want 2, one for us and one for the customer. I know our store here, it prints 2.
So I wonder how it's separated then. It's global.
So it would print 2 if there were 2 different departments.
Well, we're just putting in the number of pieces. We're not saying what department it is.
Well, yeah, you're not designating what department it is, but if somebody brings in a dry cleaning shirt and a laundry shirt, and just log me out.
But when we're putting in the order, the system doesn't know if we're just putting in 2 pieces or 3 pieces or whatever.
Yeah, as soon as you
Tyler,
close it.
they only have it on for households, so that's the only separating factor.
Mm,
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I would switch it. I would switch it back to 1. And make sure you said your store isn't having the problem. Store 4.
Store 4 is not. I was up there earlier today, and the person who brought in, shirts and some laundry stuff and dry cleaning, and I put in 8 pieces or whatever it was, and it spit out 2 tickets before I started detailing it.
I don't know. We might have to look at that one because you guys don't have any separation between the stores. So one store wouldn't do it and the other ones would. That wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, because it's always spit out 2 tickets. But then it just periodically would shoot out 1, but I guess store 6 is all 1 now. So, and we can look at that. I know Margie has something, we'll run out of time, so we can address that afterwards if we need to.
yeah, so it is set to 1 right now. So they should be getting 2, but I guess if you hear something from any of your other stores,
Okay.
shoot me an email or something.
All right. And then the one quick, how do I turn on my geofencing? How do I make that go live?
So if you want to make it go live, there's some settings you're going to have to do. Let me walk you through it. So under system settings, there's geofencing, which you'll need to enable.
Okay.
But then there are others that you'll need to enable as well. It's under this customer website.
Can you go ahead and do it while you're there?
Yeah. So we're going to need offer store delivery and I already have it. No, you don't have it turned on. Allow on-demand scheduling. Now we can come over and do geofencing and turn that on. And now you should be good to go.
Okay. Perfect.
So now one way to test it would be to just create a random customer test account and then see if it tells you, oh, you'll have to add in an address, obviously. It'll then auto assign you, or it'll say we don't service your area in there
Okay.
on the customer website.
Perfect. I'll try it out.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Not a problem. All right. Margie.
Hey, Tyler.
Hey.
I don't know if you remember a couple of weeks ago when I was in, we had a discussion about the credit card discrepancy between the Z report and the actual Stripe revenue reports. I've only had a couple of days where I'm off and have not been able to determine where the credit card came into effect. And I was just wondering if there's I've been trying to do it on my own. You had said you'd look at it, but I know you're busy and you probably forgot all about it today. So I'm not concerned like a report somewhere else that I can look at besides the ones that I'm looking at now that might show the daily transactions that the girls are doing in the store in a little bit more streamlined report, other than me having to go to looking at all the detailing or all the assembly, or looking at them separately. If there's just a daily report somewhere that I can find that might would show me, because I've had one day where the credit cards were more than what they had on the Z report, and then another day where it was opposite. The credit cards were less than what they had on the Z report. And I know that the Z report is based on what they actually put into the computer, right? The point of sale system.
Right.
So I've lost a credit card transaction somewhere because they put it in the computer but didn't put it in Stripe, run it through the Stripe thing. So I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to get a little more accuracy on our reporting to track the money. And I'm just kind of floundering right now because I cannot find these transactions anywhere.
And from what you've seen, how far is it off? Is it just a couple transactions? Like,
Yeah,
if I'm
probably one.
remembering correctly,
Yeah.
there was like one transaction that was missing based on what you had printed off.
Yeah, I had the first day the one that I talked to you about that day, the credit card was showing more than the Z report, and it was by $79.30. So, it's not a lot of money. It could be 3 or 4 small transactions, or it could be one large transaction. I only had one customer who paid online that day, and normally that's where the discrepancy comes in, but his was more than that 79.30. So that kind of throws me off in saying, okay, well, where did that other piece go, or how do I subtract it out? And then the next time it happened, it was just the opposite. The credit card report was less than the Z report, and it was by $113 and some change. And so I feel like they either, and like a lot of times I look at the next day because I think, okay, well, did they Z out the report, close out the report before and then had another credit card transaction, but that didn't happen in this case. So it's almost like they took a credit card transaction in the system, but didn't swipe it on the Stripe credit card reader. And I don't know how to find that particular transaction because none of the money is matching up to that $113. So that's why I was just wondering if there was some sort of daily report that I could look at that kind of would see everything that they might have done in the system, not necessarily just through Stripe or through point of sale.
So, I mean, you could always check, because are you looking for like specific days? Just like
Yeah,
you're only
I've only
looking for
had
a 24-hour period of time?
Yeah, I've only had two days that it's happened. Every other time I've been able to figure out where it's at when there's a discrepancy. I have started telling the credit card receipts from here on out, just so I can have those to add up. That would help me a little bit in having that visual in front of me. Because we have in this particular store, we have 3 different people using that same register all throughout the day. So it can happen that one misses something, or, they might be under a different name. And, so it's just, like I said, the owner is just very on point on wanting to know where every penny goes, and me not being able to find this money and be able to track it for her has kind of thrown me off because I usually can track everything.
I
And
gotcha.
I've
And
tried to find, because I look at the revenue report and I break it down into, like I said, so far it's only been credit cards. I've not had any issues with cash or checks or anything. It's only been with the credit cards. So I narrow it down to the credit cards on the revenue report and then go from there. And then I've even looked at the credits report. I look at the deposits. The deposits seem to be matching what's on the report, on the revenue report. But, like I said, most of the time it's the Z report that's off. And that's the part that I'm having a trouble finding, because since the Z report is what's manually done, I don't have anywhere to track what they manually did.
and have you been scrolling through the transactions report?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Usually what I'll do is go through, and this is, I don't know which store are you on? This is for economy cleaners, the one that I've had issues with.
Oh, it's economy cleaners.
Not
That's right.
Glamorama. Yeah. The most recent one was August the 4th. I think.
Let me get it pulled up.
Yeah, it's economy cleaners 1 if you're going into it. I said August the 4th was $113.11 over. The Z report was over versus the credit cards. The credit cards that posted is what actually posted to the bank and everything. So, like I said, I've got that difference, that overage of a credit card that was entered somewhere, and I cannot find out where it was at. It was August the 4th.
August 4th. And for counter one, right?
Right. Yeah, that's the only one that we have to go back to. See, like on here, it shows that the Z report was showing for the cards, it's showing $417.84. The actual credit card revenue report is showing $304.73. And of course, since the Z report doesn't show the actual credit cards anywhere, the individual credit cards, that's why I started asking them to print them so that I can see that.
Do you guys have auto pay turned on?
Yes, we do. And I have several customers that utilize that. This particular day, there was only one customer that utilized that, and his amount was for $89.86 with Trent. And my routes break down pretty good, so I know like those routes that you're looking at there. I usually they show separately on the report that I print, so I take them out of the equation when generally unless I can figure out, but most time they come out right. It's just on that first entry for economy cleaners only that I'm off, the 304.73. That first entry, that's the one that I'm off on. Because all the others I've been able to find.
Still not coming out to the right amount, even if I add both.
Yeah, like I said, I had the one customer who paid online, and that was for $89.86. But he is included in that $304.73. So this time it included him. So I'm not sure if he actually paid online or if he came in and did something where I'm not very easily stumped when it comes to stuff like this, but these 2 days have just blown my mind as to how.
Okay, so it's August 4th. Okay.
Yes.
Let me just take a note of it and.
Yeah, like I said, that particular day is over. The other day that I had talked to you about was under.
Yeah, this is over.
Yeah, July 24th was the other day that I had that's the only two that I've had issues with so far. July 24th, and it was under by $79.30.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I said I've worked on this since I talked to you last, and then when I came up with this next day, I was like, crap, here's another one. So like I said, I feel like I've got to either I've tried to do a KPI, but I haven't quite figured that out yet. I'm not really good at trying to figure out how to do that yet. So I've been practicing to try to figure out another report, but I've been going through all the different reports to see if there was anywhere that I could see where something was being put in that, it's not actually showing on the report that it should show on. But yeah, anything you could help me out in finding a report or getting a report, done just for us, maybe that would be great.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not in the store on a daily basis. If I was, I could probably have, said, oh, well, what did you do this, that day? But since I'm not there on a daily basis, I have not been able to. The girls don't ever remember. When I ask them, they're like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what I did. So it's just been trial and error trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I gotcha. I've got it noted down, and I'll figure out where that money's coming from or where that transaction's coming from, and then give you a call. All right.
I appreciate it. Yes. And just one quick question on what Matthew and then we're talking about the geofencing thing. I've just started getting into the route stuff. We have it. But as far as looking at the reports and stuff, is the geofencing something that has to be set up initially? That would not have transferred when we transferred from Spot. If I had, because I know in Spot we had perimeter set up, so to speak, but nothing. Doesn't appear now that on my stuff it has that there's anything there. Is that something I have to set up myself?
Yeah, I don't think Spot has the ability for geofencing. I could be wrong, but
well, it's not. Yeah, it's called something different, but I can look at the map and see where all my people were and see the little outlines like you were showing on Matthew's accounts. I had that in Spot, but nothing transferred when it came over, so I don't see that now on here. So is that just something I need? I would like to have that possibly. Does that cost extra to have that done or?
Yeah, I don't know if we have the ability to transfer geofences or whatever Spot calls it. I don't know if we have anybody that's ever
What about the
attempted to do it
overlay?
either. Well, the overlay doesn't show.
Right now, it's not showing anything for the routes
Yeah,
that
so
came over from Spot. So that's why I was kind of like, okay, how
overlay
can I
will
get that
show
in
your
there?
stops, but it won't show you a geofence unless if you already have geofences drawn.
Right.
You have to manually draw those.
Okay. All right. Is there a tutorial on that?
On which part?
The how to draw them?
Yeah, I mean I could do it really quick. It's not too bad. So coming into geofencing, what you want to do, add geofence. You're going to want to select the route that you want to do it on. For this instance, I'm just going to leave it as unassigned. Name this, and then you can choose your color. You don't have to. You could, of course, just do it normally, um, as in without picking a color. And then you're going to click Draw Area. You can zoom in if you want. So just closed it. Zoom in so you can see wherever it is.
Right.
And then you're going to just click once on the map. So say here, and then it's going to populate a little orange dot. Then you can drag and move, click the second dot wherever it is. And then, I mean, if you wanted to, you could zoom in and go all the way down this and just keep
Okay.
clicking all the way down. Or if you just want to do a square,
Okay.
double click to stop, and then you'll see all these little points come up in here
Okay.
as to where I clicked. But even then, if you wanted to click on these other dots right here, so if I want to click on this one, it's going to populate. It's probably really hard to see. There's little dots in between. So each dot that I select, two more populate on either side. So you can, didn't do it there. So
Yeah,
you
I
can
see that. Yeah.
move these around in
Okay.
or out or however you want to do it, you know.
Okay.
So it is going to take some time. But
Okay.
once you're done, click save, and then and
Okay.
there's your
Oh, that's
square or whatever you're trying to draw.
a lot
Um,
easier than it was in Spot, like everything else is so far.
and
Okay.
then
Cool.
hitting disable, it just completely deletes it. It goes away.
Okay.
Uh, so then you can start fresh.
And then like he was asking about setting it up so we're the new customers when they hit it. I wrote all that down about how to do that, turning it on so that any new customers will automatically fall into one of those once I get them set up.
Right, exactly. Yep.
Okay.
And
Cool.
then we have two Learning Center articles about it. So if you
Okay.
click that question mark in the bottom left, or I think you can Google Smart Learning Center or something as well. It'll pop up all of our articles, and you can search for keywords and stuff like that.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'll look forward to hearing back from you on those 2 days.
Yeah. Yep.
If you need to ask me questions, all you got to do is holler.
All right. Yeah. Not a
I
problem.
appreciate your help. Thank you.
A quick
All
question.
right.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I presume that geofencing feature is not restricted just to the US. You can do this on an international geography, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Just I would definitely read the article because there are three settings. Like, I mean, I did enable it in here with Matt's instance. Those three settings have to be turned on in order for geofencing to start working. All right. Looks like we have gone a little bit over our time, but that's all good. For those who I need to reach back out to, hopefully I don't forget. I've written notes, but I'll get back to you if not today, tomorrow, and we'll go from there.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. You guys have a great rest of your week. Thank you.
Same.
Bye.